All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here, talking about real music in real time for real people just like you, and just like me. One of the most focus tested, out of existence bands in the history of bandom. Holy crap, Batman, a new word. Jethro Tull, ladies and gentlemen, has disappeared from American radio completely. No, I'm not talking about internet radio stations or, Sirius XM pay-to-play radio. I'm talking about terrestrial radio stations. And those are the stations, by the way, that make the ad revenue even to this day. That's why they still exist. Otherwise, they would go out of business. So people who think, well, yeah, terrestrial radio, it's dead. Well, if it's dead, why are all these stations still playing music? Now, their playlist is getting narrower and narrower. And a little hint to the professor of rock. A lot of these songs that you say should have been hits were hit songs. But they weren't hit songs on Billboard's Top 40. They were hit songs on rock stations. And there is such a thing as a rock radio hit. The old days, remember those? You'd call the radio station. What did you guys just play? Oh man, play that again. That was a great song. And in the case of Jethro Tull, they had a flute. They had an amazing guitarist by the name of Martin Barre. A lot of people don't know who Martin Barre is, okay? He should be in the rock. This whole band should be in the Hall of Fame. But Martin Barre is one of those guys who would be in my top 5 of the super underrated guitar players of all time. The music from the 70s that Tull put out was very progressive, at times folky, at times somewhat bluesy, especially when they first started out in the late 1960s. They were a very blues-oriented group, and Martin Barre could play any style, and he evolved with the band. The only reason the folks at the Grammys could have put Jethro Tull ahead of Metallica in, one of the biggest controversies of those awards of all time. The only reason they could have done that is because Martin Barre's guitar playing was loud enough, hard enough, and intricate enough to make Crest of a Knave a brilliant comeback album for Jethro Tull. It's Martin Barre. So, in any event, this article here is about when Jethro Tull disbanded. And we were just speechless, says Martin Barre, talking about the moment Ian Anderson decided to split Jethro Tull. Now, I haven't followed this, so I got to be honest with you. I knew these guys were kind of still around, and they could tour, but they don't tour. So former Jethro Tull guitarist Martin Barre has spoken of the moment in 2011, so 9 years ago, when Ian Anderson told him he decided to disband Jethro Tull. Until now, Barre has been reluctant to talk of the actual moment, but in a new interview, Barre recalls the meeting between himself and then drummer Don Perry and Ian Anderson. By the way, Don Perry, another just killer drummer that nobody talks about. Anyway, it was Ian's decision, he says, because in that year, I can't remember the gig. We were in America, and me, Don, and Ian sat in a room to talk. Ian asked us, and then he dropped the bombshell. He didn't want to play Jethro Tull. He didn't want to do Jethro Tull concerts. Me and Don were just speechless, really, because Ian has always been a very careful, planned-out person. He knows exactly what he wants and what he's going to do. So this sounds like it came out of nowhere. In the back of my mind, I thought that this isn't something he's done on the spur of the moment. He really thought it through. It was a very abrupt ending for me and Don. In a way, it shook me up because I think Tull were getting very lethargic as a band, and the sets were becoming very much the same every tour, and nobody wanted any change. I always try to get changes within the group and ideas in production and lineup, but there was no interest in doing it. So this is kind of a bummer. It kind of sounds, when he says here that the sets were getting very lethargic, and nobody wanted any change. I think he's referring to Ian Anderson. So this is kind of a sad state of affairs because this is a great band. They talk in this interview later on about maybe trying to get the thing back together again. Even if the band were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Barr pours cold water on the idea of any possible reunion. He says the difficulty is there isn't a Jethro Tull, and I don't know how the mechanics of it would work. He says, I don't want to be a prophet. I don't know. It'd be very, very difficult for me. I think the main thing for me is that my band, now he's got his own band, has given so much to me and for me to Jethro Tull's music. So in other words, Martin Barr has contributed to Tull, but Martin Barr's band has, been very faithful and helpful to Martin. But whatever happened or didn't happen, in my mind, they would have to be a part of it because I think it'd be a very ignorant gesture to turn my back on them in any way at all because they're a very big part of my musical career. So that's kind of interesting. He's almost saying if I was to do something with Tull, that my band would have to be a part of this as well. So it's interesting, very interesting, and sad. And you've got the combination of their breakup. And look, one may have precipitated the other. As the years go by, and once the 90s hit, Tull had a couple more albums that did okay, like 90, 91, 92 in there. And then that was it. The grunge apocalypse hit, and believe me, Mr. Big might have been able to hold on for a little while longer, but Jethro Tull was, bye-bye, we're done. No more Jethro Tull. There's no need for you on these radio stations anymore. And even today, there's still no reason to put Jethro Tull on a so-called classic rock station because supposedly nobody likes Aqualung, nobody likes Thick as a Brick. I mean, you can go through these albums and find so many great songs. Too Old to Rock and Roll, but Too Young to Die. I mean, these are songs that I heard all the time. And Bungle in the Jungle, haven't heard that in so long. And I think, if I keep thinking through those earlier Jethro Tull records too, one of the tracks actually, I think, inspired Don Felder to write some chords for Hotel California. I mean, that's how important Jethro Tull was. And Ian Anderson says, that's fine. It was a good song by the Eagles. They deserved it. They get all the success they deserve. And yeah, so they pilfer a riff or two. Anyway, Martin Barr, a great guitarist. Jethro Tull, a great band. And yes, all of their music should have been a much bigger hit, according to some people on the internet. That's because they're only looking at Billboard Top 40 books from, 1978 and not living through it and knowing that there were these other radio stations called rock stations that played this music. And then even they were given like charts later in the early 1980s. You had the mainstream rock chart because you were starting to see a split because Top 40 was becoming different and music became more segregated, which is kind of sad, but that's the way it evolved. So that's it. I'm done. Very lengthy video. It's just sad and the speechless breakup of Jethro Tull.